Hallo und herzlich willkommen zu einer neuen Folge von Radikal Glücklich, deinem Podcast für ein strahlendes, richtig gut gelauntes Leben. Folge 104, Trommelwirbel. Einer der für mich wichtigsten Lehrerinnen ist heute im Podcast zu Gast. Wir unterhalten uns auf Englisch. Achtung, ich sage einen Satz für englische Zuhörer. If you're an English listener, this is a podcast with Eleanor Brouwer in a short and wonderful interview. Take your time. Skip the German introductory part I'm doing after this sentence and enjoy the interview. Okay, ihr Lieben, das Interview ist auf Englisch, aber ich lade euch ein, es euch, auch wenn euer Englisch wackelig ist, reinzuziehen. Ich habe erstmal so Spaß gehabt, sie überhaupt im Interview zu haben, und sie hat so eine wunderbar ruhige, schöne Sprache und Stimmung, und ich glaube, es schwappt zu einem rüber, wenn man es hört. Und ich übersetze die wichtigsten Sachen für euch im Blogpost. Also ich habe mir ein paar Stichworte gemacht und da schreibe ich einen Text zu. Nachher, wenn ich das hier fertig gesprochen habe, und dann könnt ihr das dann nachlesen, wenn irgendwas irgendwie unklar war. Elena begleitet mich schon eine ganze Weile. Sie ist Yogalehrerin und darüber habe ich sie quasi auch gefunden. Ich liebe ihr Buch Kunst der Aufmerksamkeit, was vor vielen Jahren schon kam. Das habe ich auf Deutsch und ich finde es wirklich, wirklich gut. Ich liebe das passende Deck dazu. Die Karten habe ich. Eine der Karten hängt hier, ist meine Mutkarte für 2021 im Blogpost. Siehst du ein Bild dazu. Und ich habe mich entschieden, im letzten Jahr nochmal einen Kurs von ihr zu machen. Sie hat einen Kurs Simplify, den hatte ich schon und den mache ich gerade nochmal. Das ist das Schöne an Online-Kursen, übrigens auch an denen von mir, eine kleine Erinnerung mal, dass man die immer wieder machen kann. Und es hat mich nochmal anders erwischt. Ist immer so manchmal, ne? Man liest ein Buch nochmal und plötzlich erwischt es einen richtig. Man macht einen Kurs nochmal, es erwischt einen richtig. Und wir haben am Anfang des Jahres schon eine Folge dazu gehabt. Der Kurs heißt Simplify, der wird irgendwann im Laufe des Jahres jetzt nochmal von ihr aufgelegt, sodass, wenn ihr eine Chance haben wollt, da bestimmt auch dabei sein könnt. Aber es ist der Satz her, sieh deine Arbeit als deine Kunst. Und das hat mich sehr berührt und da bin ich noch dabei. Und darüber sprechen wir unter anderem. Wir sprechen aber auch über ätherische Öle. Wir sprechen auch darüber, wie wir uns nähren können, welche täglichen Rituale sie hat. Wir sprechen darüber, wie sie in den Schlaf kommt, was sie gerade umtreibt, wenn sie Bücher liest. Und es ist ein wirklich schönes, intensives, leichtes trotzdem Gespräch. Also war super angespannt, weil ich Angst hatte, ich hätte was falsch gemacht mit der Zeit, als wir es aufgenommen haben. Und zum Glück hat es doch geklappt. Ich war schon ganz aufgelöst und innerhalb von Sekunden war ich ruhig und in meiner Mitte. Also sie hat irgendwie diese Gabe, zumindest bei mir. Bin ganz gespannt, was ihr sagt zu dem Interview. Ich lege euch sehr ans Herz, ihr Mentorship anzugucken. Es richtet sich nicht nur an doTERRA-Leute, sondern auch an Selbstständige, aber auch wenn du deine Familie managst, deinen Haushalt machst und du brauchst einfach Inspiration, suchst einen Ort der Inspiration. Ich habe mich dort angemeldet, ich mag es wirklich gerne. Ich kann es also wärmstens, Werbung ohne Auftrag, empfehlen. Genauso liebe ich ihr Buch Practice You, das ist ein Journal, was sich ein bisschen an den Chakren orientiert, wunderbare Fragen hat. Und das gibt's auch auf Deutsch, ich verlinke euch das. Und das Neue ist noch nicht bei mir, das kriege ich im Februar irgendwann, was sie gemacht hat. Sie hat sehr kunstvolle Bücher, macht sie immer. Also es ist sehr schön, wenn man so ein bisschen sich etwas gönnen will, dann ist das richtige Mittel. So, jetzt habe ich genug gequatscht. Ich wünsche euch ganz viel Spaß bei der Folge. Ein letzter Satz in eigener Sache. Wenn du das Magic 2021 noch holen willst, im Januar kannst du es noch holen. Danach schalte ich das erstmal wieder ab, weil es ein Programm ist, um das Jahr zu beginnen. Also wenn du darüber überlegst, dann schaust du dir nochmal an. Ist noch ein bisschen Zeit, aber nicht mehr allzu viel. Und in der Immersion, da werden wir am 23. starten, online mit dem ersten Wochenende. Hoffentlich die anderen 2 dann vor Ort. Wer da noch Lust hat, Yogalehrer ist, 2 allerletzte Plätze. 4 Leute überlegen, aber melden sich nicht. Deshalb denke ich sag's hier nochmal. Also wer als Yogalehrer Lust hat, in seine Kraft zu kommen, Coaching-Techniken kennenzulernen, mit mir zu üben, intensiv zu arbeiten, ganz kleine Gruppe, wir werden nicht mehr als 10 Leute sein, dann kannst du dich noch anmelden. Sonst bleiben wir so klein und vertraut, was genauso gut ist. Und das war's. Jetzt wünsche ich viel Spaß beim Interview. Habt eine feine Zeit. So I am happy and feel honored and so thankful that Eleanor Brouwer is taking some time of her precious time to be on the Radikal Glücklich podcast. And Eleanor, I want to invite you to share whatever you feel free to share. And I want to thank you. I got some looks into your new book. I got the Practice You, of course, and I love the new book. It's going to be here in Germany in February. So looking forward to it. And I'm in your mentorship. I love that too. Saw your call yesterday. So big shout out for that beautiful work there. And since the podcast is all about creating healthy and attitudes and habits that support happiness and inner freedom and inner peace, I would ask you to share some of your daily habits to start, maybe, which you developed and which are not negotiable. I think that's the right word.
Yeah, for sure. Not negotiable. Exactly.
So if you'd like to, that would be great.
I think the best way to start is if you are listening to this and you are feeling like you're not doing enough and you're not doing it right, I just want to say, first of all, that you're fine. And if you have the time and the inclination to listen to this, to the two of us talk, you are among very few people who have chosen to learn and take care of yourself. So stop being hard on yourself and start giving yourself empathy. At every turn, every moment, give yourself empathy. And when you concentrate your energy into giving yourself empathy, and that really means just being there for yourself, accepting what is, then the choices that you make from that place and the attitudes that you host from that place will automatically be the ones that feel the most nourishing and nurturing to you. So in terms of concrete habits, practices, I wake up in the morning, the first thing I do is, scrape my tongue and swish with my coconut oil and clove and cinnamon and basil on my back, on my kidneys, face oil with some frankincense or some geranium or some ylang-ylang, some chamomile. And then I go and sit for meditation. And sometimes that sitting happens in the sauna. And sometimes it happens on the chair in my bedroom. Sometimes it happens on the floor. But that always happens. Always, always happens. That time for me, I get up at least 2 hours before I'm due to present or give any presentations, meet with anyone. Those 2 hours are very, very important to me. And I think they are the reason for my creativity. Always I find myself really falling in love with the world, as broken as it sometimes seems. I find myself falling in love with what is, as broken as it sometimes seems. And after the sitting, I usually will move around. I might go for a run outside. Sometimes if it's too cold, I'll jump on the trampoline. I saw that you have one there. So and
I love it.
Yeah, I feel like those few things are probably the most important. I do always, before I move, I might as well add this, that I heat up some water. While I'm heating the water, I'll do some green powder and some water. And then into the warm water, I'll put a drop of wild orange or a drop of lemon oil and just sip it throughout the morning, throughout my first meeting or two. And all of these little things make the day feel sacred and feel planned and organized for me in a way that feels really nourishing.
Yeah. Of course, I observed your journey as well as I could over the past years, and what were the major, if it can be named major step, but the major step or shifts to be more kind towards yourself and more patient? What helped you
Well,
most?
I feel like there was a moment, the moment that I decided, it was six and a half years ago or so, to stop using drugs and alcohol, mostly drugs, but stop using anything to alter my state. And it wasn't it wasn't easy to take that out of my life. I had it basically every day. I was
Mhm.
smoking marijuana or smoking cigarettes or doing something that wasn't helpful to me, but I thought I couldn't live without it, and I thought I wasn't as cool or funny or smart or anything without it. But in letting all of that go, I found myself in here, and I found a connection to myself that I'd never had before. Oh, and I just started to really appreciate all of the sweetness, all even the misunderstandings that I was hosting in myself. I started to appreciate them so much. And ever since then, I feel like I have myself back. Have you ever had a friend who had a similar experience where they were addicted to something and then they got sober and you feel like you got your friend back?
Mm.
I feel like I got myself back.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's really beautiful. So, you are sober since 6 years, you said?
6 years and a few months now.
Wow, that's really cool. I've quit drinking alcohol 2 years ago
Good.
in April, and it was a really hard first year. I never would have thought that it would be hard for me.
Yeah.
It really was tough. To all the insecurities popped up, and yeah, the
Yeah.
need to be funny and social, and yeah, all that.
Mhm.
So, congratulations on the 6 and some years.
And to you,
Thank
wonderful.
you. If people in our world, and I still see it in myself too, and I want to congratulate you to the beautiful Simplify course. I'm doing it again right now. I
Oh,
know
that's awesome.
it will be open again, won't it?
Yes, I think towards the middle of 2021, I think we'll open it again. It's funny, the mentorship, which is an ongoing sort of version of Simplify,
Yes.
ever evolving. It feels like the only place I want to put my energy right now because I feel like such good work is coming through there, on not just on my side, but also on the side of the folks who are in the portal with me.
Yes.
But yeah, Simplify has a lot of values. So we were just reviewing that. My collaborator and I just have one. I don't have a team. I have one person, and she and I were just reviewing that, and we decided that we should reopen the doors to that maybe sometime in the middle of the year.
Yeah. I love the mentorship. So, and I haven't so much content, so I'm so much in there.
Yeah,
I just saw some tiny bit until now.
perfect.
But I love Simplify because you are on my 21 vision board, because it says,
Mm,
see your work as your art.
yes,
And
that
that really
thing.
shifted me. And so maybe you want to say something about that sentence, which is so profound.
Glad to. I feel like once I started to do that, everything changed. I'm trying to help my kids see that high school can be his art, but it's a tougher sell. It's really tough to sell that. Um, I feel like if all of us, let's just speak to our listener for a second. If you can start to look at the work that you do, whether you're a medical doctor or an attorney or a business owner, a teacher of anything, a healer, your work and the way that you do it, from the email exchanges that you have, the website that you put forth, the actual work that you actually do, all of it can be a form of your art. And I don't think we look at it like that, because it seems as though, well, how could we equate art with something that earns us money? And I dare say, from all of the great teachers with whom I've studied, that money can also be an art form that we practice. Money only carries the energy that we put into it, the energy that we ascribe to it. So what if earning money was an art form that depended on your seeing your work as your art? Everything becomes a form of art. So the way that you write your name, the way that you send that email, the energy that you hold in your body when you're making your food, all of it becomes a form of art. And then what ends up happening, and it doesn't matter what you do in this moment in time, especially now because your attitude is coming through in everything that you do, even virtually, then all of your work becomes very inviting. The word art and invitation, I think, are very close. And when your work is inviting, your work becomes impactful. And when your work has an impact, you'll actually reach more people. And when you can reach more people, what happens? You might be earning more money. Mm-hmm. And the cycle continues. So I don't know, there isn't really a way to quantify it physically. It's really just to concentrate all of your energy on making the smallest actions art.
Yeah. And what I thought while you were talking is that that it's only possible if we do things with our whole energy and with our being present. And that presence is always is only possible when you're not in a rush, in a hurry.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So how to overcome the habit of being in a hurry or feeling pushed?
I think it starts where Simplify starts, actually. You know, that first module where we just go through what time looks like, what your time looks like, what your calendar looks like, who is on there, what is on there, what are you prioritizing? Because once you see what you're prioritizing and who's on your calendar and what's on your calendar, you can start to see, okay, I'm going to plan my day this way. So I have this appointment, and then I put in, 30 minutes. This appointment, and then I put in at least 15 minutes. And you just start to think about how it's going to feel, days out at the end of that appointment when you have to complete one thought and then instantly go into another one. You'll never schedule yourself one after the other again.
Yeah.
Just to eliminate that aspect of a calendar where you have one thing that instantly goes into the next thing is a great gift to yourself. And that takes out a lot of the unnecessary haste that a lot of us have felt, either currently or in the past. And, ultimately, yes, you're going to, make choices that make you feel days later like you've overscheduled yourself. Sure, it'll still happen to me too, but much less frequently. And when it does happen, now I'm able to laugh and just say, oh, I did that. This is my doing. I'm not going to be hard on myself. I'm going to give myself empathy, and I'm going to do the very best that I can do with the time that I have.
Yeah. And that's not easy sometimes, but it's so good, because beating ourselves up is just always making everything worse and making us sad, and the energy is not good. So I know you are have a long journey with essential oils, and I fell in love last summer. So I'm not that I'm new to the essential oils, but I love them so much. So of course I want to know if you could only pick. I know it's a hard question because I don't think I could answer it, but if you could only pick like 5 oils, which would be your favorites?
I'll go to the ones that I use the most in these days. One of them is not from doTERRA. So just to be honest, for our listener, we work with doTERRA oils. We chose them very specifically because of the sourcing, the integrity of the company, the community that we've built around us. Very beautiful, really inspiring, and frankly, the only job I've ever had where my good work depends and also creates the good work of others. The first thing that I do when I wake up in the morning, as I said earlier, is clove and cinnamon are in my little coconut oil swishing. So I might count them as two, I might count them as one, but both are incredibly important agents for the health of my system. Clove and cinnamon. And I swish them around in let's say a tablespoonful of coconut oil in my mouth every morning for about 10 to 15 minutes. Just swishing them around. And it's about one drop of each. Then basil, or basil, as we say here in the States, on my kidneys. Basically I use that just to remind, recalibrate, reset my tendency towards haste, as we just spoke about. Your kidneys and your adrenals, which are on either side of your lower back, of course, is what takes the hit, bears the brunt of haste and aggression and tension in the body. So the basil in my hands on my kidneys really gives my yin aspect some nourishment. Then I'll go to my face, and there are, I would have to say, the three more if I can have a sixth oil. Geranium, frankincense, and I'm going to go with blue chamomile, which is German chamomile, matricaire en français. I find this to be one of the most healing I have, and I'm begging doTERRA to make it. So hopefully that will happen soon. We have blue tansy, which I also use interchangeably with blue chamomile. And just one drop in my face oil, about maybe a teaspoon of face oil, and then one drop of the blue oil. Oh, it just is so soothing for my skin. And I interchange that with the geranium or the frankincense. That's a fantastic way to start the day. If I could add two more, I would say I always put wild orange into a large pitcher of cold or cool water, not necessarily cold, but room temperature or cool water. And then I always put a drop of lemon oil into warm water in the morning. And that's kind of how I start my day with those, 8 or 10 oils. It's the loveliest thing because it doesn't feel luxurious. It feels like, okay, this is how the day begins. I'm taking care of myself in these few ways, handful of ways. None of it takes more than a few minutes. And the oils take these very potent quantities of plants and offer them into the body in the form of one drop very efficiently and efficaciously to support all the systems of the body. So I find them to be a very integral part of my day. And I could go on. Like I use them all day long in my office, during my meetings, on my throat, my heart, my chest, my arms. I don't use a lot. I use them consistently. So it's not about quantity. It's about frequency for me. And the frequency of the use, the consistency of the use is what generates in me what I will call just a low grade, always present contentment with what is, a willingness to be with what is, even when it gets really challenging at times.
Do you have a favorite night routine too, with oils or without oils, maybe you would like to share?
Oh, for sure. When I get close to the bed, I'll turn on the diffuser with some serenity in it, keep it very simple. Maybe some vetiver as well. On my feet, I have a selection next to my bed. I have a jasmine roller. I have a bottle of vetiver. I have that bottle of serenity. And I have a bottle of Roman chamomile. which has the white label.
Mm-hmm.
And I will alternate those on my feet. So first thing, I'll put some moisturizer or some oil, body oil on my feet, on the soles of my feet. And then I'll put either one or all three, one drop of each, onto my feet. The Jasmine Vetiver Serenity is insanely beautiful. Jasmine Roman Chamomile, stunning. All four of them together is just great as well. And then I put my socks on. And I'll leave the socks on for a little while just so that everything goes and sort of bakes into the soles of my feet, which then is transmitted throughout my body. Super calming. I'll turn the lights down. There's no phone in the bed. I'll get a book and I'll read for a little while until I get sleepy. And it's the nicest.
Yeah, it sounds beautiful. About reading. So, of course, as I said, I love your Practice You journal. I keep coming back and I keep second time now reading old answers and seeing where I'm now. It's really nice. It's like 3 years ago I bought it.
That's sweet.
And it's kind of like seeing shifts and seeing what is constant, and that's beautiful and I love it. But I also love to read some books like Tao Te Ching or something like that. So what is on your night thing? I don't know, the night table right now.
Yeah, we say night table or nightstand. Roshi Joan Halifax wrote a book called Standing at the Edge. And that is what I'm very slowly rationing to myself right now. And I'm studying with her this month on the koan, the Mu koan. So I'm also reading on that. I have a couple different books about it, The Gateless Gate. And it's both totally perplexing and completely freeing, this particular koan. It's a Koan, and it's basically a phrase or a saying or an aphorism would be the best way I would describe it, where you're challenged to bring this aphorism or this phrase into your body, and you're challenged to live the meaning of it. And in this particular case, the entire, all the wisdom is condensed into one phrase. And to try and figure it out, can't really do that. You know, you're not meant to ascribe a concept to it. You can try and embody it. So it's just a complete freedom where everything around you sort of collapses and you're emancipated. And so is anyone else who's willing to go here. And it's sort of like there's nothing. There's everything and there's nothing. And there's nothing and everything and there's everything and nothing. That's the best way that I can describe it. And to reach this body of work, you know, I resisted Zen forever. I thought, oh, no. It's all about Tantra. It's all about, you know, this vivid experience of life. And I don't know. I feel like that was really important to me to be able to see what this means. I don't know that I would appreciate it as much as I do without all of that having come before. But I really, truly appreciate the work that Roshi Joan does. I'm studying with her over at the Upaya Zen Center here in Santa Fe. I can't go there physically. I'm just doing everything online, but it's feeding something inside of me that needed to be fed. And it's not, I don't think it's a concrete aspect of me. It's almost like in the feeding of this part of me, things are being stripped away. And that seems to be what the nourishment is, you know? It's such a paradox. And I feel like I'm just releasing all kinds of things that I don't need, concepts and assumptions, predispositions, perceptions, in order to just be with precisely what is every day.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. I find that when I read in the evening, in the night before sleep, that it's kind of like you take your mind to a place and it's night is different to which place you take it. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yes. I do feel like I sleep much better, and I have to be very careful about what I read before I go to sleep. But her book, Standing at the Edge, is really good because she uses a series of examples to describe these different edge states. Yeah, the edge states are things like altruism, empathy, and to show how you can go either not far enough or way too far, or you can stand at the edge. And it's been helping me a lot. There's just so much happening in this country right now. We're speaking in January of 2021. It's literally the 12th of January.
Yeah, I know.
And it's like we've had 4 years already in these 12 days in this country.
Yes.
I don't have words for it, really, from the loss of many, many, many friends who firmly believe that this monster, psychopathic, sociopathic man is actually a veritable genius. I've lost many friends to this. The whole conversation around the vaccine, I'm not going to say what I believe, because whatever you believe is perfectly fine by me. I'm not going to try and convince you of anything. I actually don't know what I believe. And to have a practice, go back to the beginning, what are the real habits that you have and the things that you do every day? Just have a practice. Like, I don't know what I would do presented with the vaccine. I just don't know. But my practice helps me not to worry about it. And, in these times, I think the practice, the little things that we do before bed, the little things that we do when we wake up in the morning, these are the things that ground us and steady us and prepare us for the curveballs. To coin an English phrase, the curveballs that will get thrown at us throughout the day.
Yeah.
My practice has never been more important.
That's true. We have friends in America, and it's really hard to see what's going on. And you guys are in our prayers. It's all around the world. It's crazy right now. So it's good when everybody has a practice and finds inner peace despite of all that is.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we truly don't know. In the next week or two, there are other insurrections planned all over the country.
Mm.
It literally feels like a lawless place. It's never in my lifetime. And somehow my mother, rest her soul, was born just after the Second World War, 1946. And then she died 5 years ago in 2016. She made it without any of this. She made it without any of this. She lived through a couple of real dips in the economy, but this is unreal. Yeah. It's unreal.
Yeah.
It's unreal.
That's true. That's true. So you are in our prayers. Hopefully.
Thank you. We need it.
All will go well. So our time is almost gone, and I don't want to get you in a hurry for your next appointments.
I appreciate that so much. Thank you.
Thank you for taking your time. I have a quote which I saw in the Art of Attention book, which I really love. I marked it years ago. The book is really old. Started my journey as a yoga teacher with it. And it says, living is giving and giving is living. And I feel that you are giving a lot. So I want to thank you for that. And maybe there's another sentence which resonates a lot in you right now. If you want to close up with a sentence or two, feel free, whatever you want to say.
Well, I just did my morning writing, and it turned out to be a poem that will go into the next book. So after Being You comes out this month, this year, there's going to be another book. I think it's going to be called Nurturing You. I don't know. But it's all poems. with prompts. I've been writing poetry since I was a little girl. And so I've been saving everything and now I'm putting it into a book. But what I wrote this morning, I really love. And I was trying to encapsulate the concept that I was just explaining to you, this concept of mu, which is nothing and everything and no and yes. And anyway, this is what came. The circle that Shunryu Suzuki Roshi drew when his dear acolyte asked if he'd see him again after he died. The dark of the morning, when even the birds are still tucked away at the edge of the forest, when it feels like I'm trespassing on God's land. The kiss that turns into Jonah's face, mashing into my eye socket like a distracted puppy. The wind howling through the piñons and junipers as the storm rolls in. The last breath my mama took with my cheek on her belly, my sister and father near her face. The gentle crunching sound of pine cones and branches underfoot as I walk alone under a purpling late day sky. The moment my beloved catches my eye in the kitchen asking about dinner, when the inexplicable gratitude rises up in the center of both of us like water in a tree. The moment dinner ends and the night of quiet is ahead of us and the deliberation over how to spend it. The heavy, slow swoosh of the sliding door opening, heading out to listen, smell, and feel the night forest breathing. Several moments that somehow just came flying out of me this morning.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
That's really beautiful. Thanks for sharing.
Of course.
Cannot wait. So, thank you for your time, Elena. Have a beautiful day.
Thank you. You too. Have a wonderful evening and we'll talk again soon.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to that. Bye-bye.
Same.
Hey und pst, es gibt einen neuen Podcast von mir, der ursprünglich auf einer von mir geschaffenen Kursplattform nur zur Verfügung gestellt wurde. Er heißt Zurück zur Natur und ich beschreibe darin, wie ich ätherische Öle und Supplements nutze und was ich den Leuten, die das mit mir entdecken, rate. Wenn du also Lust hast, auf diesem Weg auch mir ein bisschen zuzuhören, dann findest du Zurück zur Natur überall da, wo du auch diesen Podcast findest. Viel Spaß beim Zuhören.